Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Man of Thought. Let me give you guys a sign as we start before everyone join me live. Um, Today we are talking about addiction, and I have to make it very easy and simple because some people have been asking that, am I truly addicted to something? And then I have to show them exactly what I do. This night we are talking about addiction. So when I was about to make the the thumbnail of my video for addiction today, I had to use the powder. It's a powder. So I put it on my nose. So do not think I'm talking about substance use. Welcome if you're just joining me. Welcome to the Man of Thought. Today I'll be talking about my addiction. I know in the next few minutes people will be joining me right on live. So let's give few minutes. Let me do certain things. I told. Yeah. Today my subject is about addiction. Who is joining me live? Everyone is welcome. If you're joining me, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. Let me start with the Daddy Phrase ways of doing his live stream. Pop the money gun, pop the money gun. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, wave his hand and the rest of it. I love Daddy Freeze as a person. You know, sometimes we are humans and we make some mistake. But he's one of the people who I kind of imitate in certain things. Not like I imitate him, but I've been able to use certain words that he has said in the past to be able to direct myself in one way or the other. So who is joining me live before we proceed on today's subject on addiction? If you're joining me, please do say hello. Today, I would love to engage with people on this particular subject. And most likely we'll be talking about things that has to do with me. Oh, hello. Welcome. I don't know your name because I can't understand your name, but MD Faham Akbar. Hello. Yeah. Welcome. Hello. Yeah, from Ato Vameolen. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I appreciate everyone. Yes, hello everyone. Um, Please, before we proceed right now, I would like you to subscribe and like. Please do like the video. I appreciate you. It is a way for you to support my channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We have few things we are going to be discussing. For those who have always joined me, they know that our conversation is always unique. Someone asked, where am I from? From Ato Vomeolen. I'm from Africa, Nigeria specifically. Please, we have over 51. You look like her. I don't understand what you mean. The one of my dreams. I look like her, the one of your dreams. I don't understand. We have over 64 people joining me live right now. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the Man of Thought. You have a riot. That's true, there's riots going on, but life is not about focusing on the negativity because I have talked about the riot over and over again. and my people, by God's grace, would learn to do what is proper. And I don't think we need a riot right now. Ahmed Muhammad, your work is good. Keep going. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, from India. Thanks for joining me. We have over 81 people joining me right now on live. Please subscribe. Please like. Trust me, you're going to enjoy the conversation we are going to be having tonight. I appreciate you all. Bless up, my brother. I am from Jamaica. Oh, GSA. Please do subscribe. Let us increase the likes to at least 11 or 12. At least it makes sense so we can continue in this conversation. Please do like. Please do subscribe while we proceed. Okay, Rakesh says what? I can't say that statement right now, but Rakesh, I hope you're doing fine. I hope you have a great spirit. I hope your day is not going bad. Don't hold anyone responsible for how you feel. English of Panis, how are you? Yes, we are always in 10. We are already in 10 likes. Please, let's make it 12 and then we can proceed for today. Do you remember me? Momo. Momo, it would have been a while you joined me live, but I think I can recall that I have had some conversation, but I might not be able to remember the exact conversation. Love from Palestine. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. Let us make our likes get to 12 so I can proceed on today's conversation. Love from Palestine. Aman. Thank you for the love. We are already in 11, just one more, and we proceed for today's conversation. Richie Atman is from Tamil Nadu. Okay, we are already in 12 likes. So every other person who is joining, you can like while we start today's conversation. Now, before I proceed on everything I want to talk about, I would like to share this information. And the information is a joyful information for me, and it's also a joyful information for those my audience who have been supporting me, who had wished my success. And that means I joined the YouTube channel about last year, October. And there were reasons behind me joining the YouTube. I had a vision and I joined the YouTube. But within the period of 7 months that I have officially been on YouTube, I find myself that I've been able to supersede the 1,000 subscribers, and I've been able to also supersede the 4,000 watch hours. So that simply means that I have been monetized on YouTube. So congratulations to me, and congratulations also to those people who have been wishing to see my success. So I appreciate everyone. Someone said Ronaldo or Messi. I don't know. We have a lot of things to discuss. I'm going to start today's conversation with my life, and then I'll be able to relate with you. So for Krishna, I think you want me to answer Ronaldo or Messi. I am not a football fan, but I would think Ronaldo, because I've always heard of Ronaldo more, and I've seen his football once in a while. But for Messi, I can't even recognize Messi if I see him. Maybe until I Google it. So let us start with today's conversation. Why do I go into a subject of talking about addiction? Why do I make a decision that we will talk about addiction and my own addiction? First of all, we would have to be able to define what addiction is. And addiction, according to the dictionary term, simply means that a person who is addicted, especially to a harmful drugs. Thanks for everyone who is joining me. Welcome. Addict in dictionary simply means a person who is addicted, especially to a harmful drugs. Now, if you observe my thumbnail, I acted like I was on drug. Hello, everyone. I appreciate you for joining. Thank you. Now, why do I choose that particular aspect? It is basically because when we talk about addiction, a lot of people, we can see that addiction actually has the definition of harmful drugs or something that is negative. Kratosragma, yeah. Addiction is something that is associated with something that is negative. Uchiba, Uchiha Obito. Would you mind reading my comments? The comments? Yes, I have been reading the comments. Stop repeating the comments. Yeah, thank you. So let us, I'm actually going into the conversation right now. Where are you from? I'm from Nigeria. Someone asked, how old am I? I shouldn't put it to the public right now. Will you give me, will you join my membership if I tell you my age? Someone said Mark Angels. I beg, I know be Mark Angel. He said I should say it. I'm 36 years of age. 36. Am I too young or am I too old? It doesn't matter. You said 69. Are you 69? Uchia Obito says so many Indians everywhere. Yes, so it's a great thing. Can I be moderator? Okay. If you can chat me up on WhatsApp after this conversation, my number is on the, what do they call it? On the about us. My number is 08061704753. You can see it, you can join me on WhatsApp, and so I'll be able to add you as one of the moderator. And every time we want to go live, I would appreciate that also. I can get you into rehab tomorrow. Zia says he wants to get me into rehab. Description of profile. Go to my about page. Just go to my about page. When you click on my page, go to about, and you're going to see a lot. So when I talk about addict, that I am also an addict, I first of all gave the definition of an addiction. And an addict is a person who is addicted especially to a harmful drugs. Now, if you understand this statement, it simply means that whenever you say somebody is addicted to something, that person has a negative experience, or the person is associating themselves with substance that is negative to their health or to their life. Regardless of the fact of what they are experiencing, they make a choice to always use the substance simply because they cannot get themselves out of that substance. They have become a slave to the substance. That is what it means to be an addict. But sometimes when we look at it from other perspective, you need to understand that there are also behaviors we have that is not actually good. certain habit we have that is also more worse or as bad as someone who is also addicted to substance. That addiction, I really want to talk about it. Now, for me, I could have said that habit is what I mean by addict. But for the sake of professionals who use the word addiction, what I mean is habit. And what are the habits am I addicted to that was able to lead to the success that I have been able to achieve? Someone asked, do you love Jesus Christ? I do. I do love Jesus. So where am I going? First of all, I want to make this statement out. In the story I'm about to pass across, I would say something first of all before I actually dive in. I have a simple life. My experience of life is very simple. And I want you to understand that a lot of people find pride in having a hard life. The society we live in today, if you don't have a hard life, it seems as if you did not confess out of your mouth that your life is hard, it seems as if you don't have experience of life. When you make a decision to say that I have a good life, people think that you are either proud. But when you say that you have a hard life, a lot of people will say, yes, this person is one of us. Simply because our life is hard, that means we have more experience. My life is a simple life. And my message, part of the message I want to be sharing with us today is how can we live a simple life, but a life that is very effective. We do not necessarily need to have a hard life. And let me make this correction. Just because you have gone through hard times in life does not necessarily mean that your life needs to be hard. Oh, Brihan Rosina, let me touch on your subject a bit and then I move back to this conversation. You said, and did you know that Satan is controlling the world right now because God wants to see what the humans will do? If they always pray and read the Bible, they will go to heavens. If they don't, they go to hell. Before I proceed on what I am saying, let me just touch on that. Realistically, most of this conversation might be a psyop. Good and evil resides inside human being. Good and evil resides inside every entity. There is no entity that is special in wickedness or in evil, and there's no entity that is special in goodness. Both of them are capable of both. So is it the devil that is controlling humans, or is it humans that is allowing themselves to be controlled due to them not searching knowledge? The Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. When you do not have knowledge, you make wrong choices. You choose the wrong leaders. So when you talk about this particular subject, it is most likely that humans have decided to run away from knowledge simply because they seek freedom, they seek happiness so much that they deprive God himself on knowledge, showcasing itself for us to be able to organize ourselves as people. That's my answer for you. Our life is not so much dependent on what God wants, God give us a choice. We make the choices of our life. If our life is difficult, it is based on the choice we have made as people, consciously or unconsciously. So, like I was saying in my conversation, my life is a simple life, and I want people to learn to live a simple life also. Behem Rosina, I hope I've been able to answer your question. And a lot of people find pride in saying that their life is hard. Now, why do I say my life is simple? Yes, sir. Somebody's asking, Kratos Ragnar Rock is asking what is the time in Nigeria. This is 8:21, 8:21 p.m. So when I look at my life, I came from a rich family, a wealthy family. My father was a rich man. Not that big rich, but he was doing fine. We had everything that a family needed. And when I was 8 years old, I lost my father. And after 8 years old, for many years, I had to go through a lot with my mother. All right. Brittany Rosina, have a great day. I had to go through a lot. And in part of my experience in life, part of it make me a lot introverted as a person. When I mean introvert, what I mean is I stay back a lot rather than come forward to say things that I experience in life. My mom had to go through a lot in life. But as I speak to you, I do not associate my life to be a hard life. I do not associate my life to be a hard life, because the reason why a lot of people always want to convince people that their life is very hard is simply because if they say that God has blessed them and their life is simple, or they've made a choice to live a simple life, it looks as if the world would think that you don't have experience, you don't know what life is, you don't know what we have been through, and it seems as if it is just a psyop being set for us to act like we are part of a group. My life is not hard. Just because I went through hard time in my life doesn't mean that my life needs to be hard. The enlightened one, thanks for joining me. Said, oh wow, I have a very similar story. My father was very wealthy in Lagos, but died when I was 7. Chief Ajani Ariago. That name will be it is a very powerful name. Just hearing that name is a powerful name. Do you know Pastor Chris? I know Pastor Chris. Everybody knows Pastor Chris. Your father died May this year. Sorry about that, oh Jason. Sorry about that. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And you have to be strong for him also. Be the man of the house and take care of things. Now, what am I saying? A lot of us experience life that we had our dear ones die. Some people have to go through hardship in life. In fact, the people who are their parents treat them very bad. Just because you lost your mother and father doesn't mean that the person who has father and mother did not go through more hardship than you. But what I am saying is this: you don't necessarily need to associate yourself with the hardship to start testifying with your mouth every time to say that my life is hard. It is a political person that always say, my life is hard. I understand your pain. It is a psyop. If you decide to live a simple life, you are free from the mentality of a hard life. So when I was growing up, my life, the experience of my life is hard. Just because I have certain hard experience in life, I do not necessarily need to make my life more difficult. In fact, my duty is to make my life more simple, because a hard life or a hard experience simply means it is a complex one, and what I can do is to simplify it. That is the choice I made for myself. This evening, I, the enlightened one, and few people, we were even discussing about happiness. The reason why a lot of people are going through hard life, there is the part that you have no control over it. That is when you are very young. When you are very young, you might not be able to control the experiences or the things that you are going through. I was bullied in school when I was a child. I had a lot of experience when I was a child that was painful, but I decided not to make my life hard, but rather I simplify my life. And in the simplicity, I call it my addiction. When I tell people that I am an addict, what I mean is I make my life so simple that I am an addict to a simple life. I do not need to make my life complex. Enlightened One says, I totally agree with you. When I hear some stories of people with both parents alive, I think I escaped some other level type of pain. Makes my father's death a joke. It's true. Someone once asked me a question and he says, what is the meaning of life? I say, life is what you give. The meaning you give to life is what life is to you. I repeat, when people ask me, what is the meaning of life? I say, life is, or the meaning of life is the meaning you give to life. What you decide to mean, to interpret or to define as your life is what makes sense to you. No other person can give you a specific meaning of life, because in the aspect of we trying to say what is the meaning of life, the meaning of life for you is different from mine because our experiences differs. So nobody can give you an accurate definition of what life is. But realistically, you have to accept the definition and the meaning you want out of life. So most likely, when you say my life is hard, some people do not understand the power of their tongue. Some people underestimate because pastors say this, and we do not take all these things serious. But look, for example, I am communicating with you and you can hear me from another place. Let's forget the technology aside, but you can listen to what I'm saying, but everything I'm saying, you cannot see it. They are invisible. So the question is, do you not think that I could say certain things that might be provoking to you? I could say certain things that might relieve you. And if I can say things that can either provoke or make you relieve, that means that there's a power with the words that I say. And so when people begin to say that their life is hard, their life is difficult, simply because they want to fall into the group of certain individuals, they automatically start having hard life. If they are not using that statement to deceive people, their life will finally have a way to become hard. So what do I mean by I have a simple life? What I meant is that while I was growing up, I had certain things that I wanted in my life, and I knew that there are certain things that are possible in my life. Now, a lot of people, when they grow up or when they are growing, their parents instill inside of them that, my child, you have to grow. For you to For me to be proud of you, my child, you have to be successful in this. You have to be successful in this. You have to have this. You have to have this. You have to go to these places. You need to travel out of the country. You need to do this and that and blah, 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 blah. And then you don't know automatically that they are stealing certain joy from you. Let us look at certain areas of our life and let us look at things. What do we do that is more different from what animals actually do? Animals are born, we are born. Animals eat, we eat. Animals reprocreate, we reprocreate. Animals build houses, birds build their houses, we build our houses. Certain animals change their skin like a snake. We change our clothes. In fact, Michael Jackson changed his skin. Animals die, we die. But one of the things that have taken joy away from us is simply because certain individuals will put it into your mentality that you have to be everything on the surface of this earth. You have to travel to 500 countries. You have to enter aeroplane. You have to be part of the political people. You have to have a lot of cars. You have to have a lot of women around you. You need to be able to chill with the big boys. When they start giving you all this mentality and you think that is what will make you a successful person, you are making your life complex. You are making your life hard. So it is more of or less that you are also an addict to a hard life. Because you are, an addiction simply means you are using a hard substance or a hard drug and you are addicted to it and you are a slave indirectly to it. But in this particular time, you are addicted to certain mentality that has been instilled inside you, indoctrination subconsciously that is taking everything away from you. And so you can't feel every emotions of humans anymore. You begin to chase this and chase this and chase this. I decided in my life that there are basic things that I want to do with my life. For me to be wealthy, there are certain principles that guide wealth. And in fact, there's a grace that also is applicable. I tell people this: just because you work hard does not necessarily mean that you are going to be wealthy or you're going to be rich. Everyone is capable to be wealthy. The capacity to be wealthy is in everyone, but the capacity to be rich might differ. Because riches is the accumulation of material things. But when you are wealthy, you can have physical, or you might not have enough physical things, but yet you are okay and satisfied with the position of your life while you work hard, or while you work and you have a vision towards where you are going. You can have a peaceful life even if you don't have all the materials in life. Am I preaching or am I making sense? So what I mean is that your life do not necessarily need to be hard. What do I do with my life? At this junction of my life, which I used to do before, I do not pick more than 5 basic things that I want to do every single day, or most likely 6 things that I want to do every day. Jason says I'm preaching. I do not make decisions to choose too many things in my life, because I know that the moment you bring in something into your life, you can get attached to it, and you might get attached to things that might not be useful to you. They just make your life complex. You most likely will see that if you see certain people make podcasts or make live stream, there's a way they want to dress. They want to dress like they are going to fashion just to be able to entice a lot of people. I do not necessarily need to do all these things, because I know that the quality of the things that I say and the quality of the type of people that I want to meet or associate myself with are not the people who praise material things, but people who can see life for what it is, who are conscious beings. So first of all, I choose things to simplify my life. I don't choose things to make my life hard. And part of it is like, I wake up in the morning, I make sure I take care of my body first, health first. Two, I find the things that I need to eat to take care of my body to be satisfied. Two. Thirdly, I make sure I focus on my work and my duties that is going to establish my vision, which is my success. Three. Fourthly, I have to make a decision to make sure that my life is not a problem to other people. It is my responsibility not to make my life be a problem to other people. Four. And the fifth one is I make sure I rejoice. And if it is a time for me to cry, I cry and I sleep. Five. Some people, they want to have everything on earth. That is the mentality they have towards life. I will need to buy a jet. I need to buy a car. I need to have 7 women. I need to do this. I need to do that. Yes, it looks good. But trust me, you are addicted to a hard life. Thank you, sir. The enlightened one. I am not saying that you chasing material things is bad. Do not quote me wrong. I am saying excessive, that when you have 1, 2, and it is not enough, 3, 4 is not enough, then that should draw your attention that you are not moving, or you are not being aligned to the realities of your life. Rather, you are being addicted to certain method of thinking. Yes, sir. The enlightened one says, I really like the part of not making your life a problem to other people. Never heard that said so eloquently before. Yes, sir. The idea of me taking care of my body is so I will be healthy, because an happy cell, sometimes you have what you want, but when your body is not happy, that means you have not done what you're supposed to do with your body, because the ability of the body is supposed to move around, dance around, jump around, do a lot of things. If you deprive the cell from experiencing what the body can do, the cells of your body can make you not to feel the joy of your life, or can deprive you of certain emotions. So the purpose why I rejoice every time, or I exercise, or I do a lot of things, is to pay attention to my body and give it what it needs. And then I eat. And then I focus on my success. What do I mean by success? I know I need to have a house. I know I need to have certain property. And what is the purpose behind the property I want to have? Every vision I have to be successful, there must be a purpose why I need it. And that purpose must be something that is beyond me. Because if I have a house, the question is, or if I'm thinking to get a house, why do I want the house? Maybe I have one, why do I want two? If I have two, why do I want three? Now, anything that is meant because of your own reasons alone, it is just because of you alone, you are living a selfish life. A selfish life can never be a happy life. I don't care what anybody says. A selfish life can never be a happy life. And then I try my best not to be a problem to other people. I have to observe what humans are, because I understand that everything that is attached to all of us as humans is that we all have experiences of things that make our life kind of hard or difficult. And for me, I want to simplify it for myself. And in a nutshell, I want to simplify it for others too. So I try not to be a problem to other people's life. If I don't have, I want to be sure that the person I ask has it and is willing to give. Because if I ask you and you don't have, I hope I'm not taking too much from you. I hope you are not giving me basically because you are ashamed. I want you to also understand, I want to establish a relationship with people that I know that if I call for your help and you don't help me, it is also fine. That doesn't mean you have betrayed me. That simply means there might be a reason and you can share that reason with me. I create an attitude that will make you trust and to be able to speak to me. And the problem a lot of us have as people is that we are quick to react to things whenever we get disappointed. And because we get disappointed, we quickly close the door of relationship with certain people, forgetting the fact that somebody who is not able to do a lot for you today might have the opportunity to bless you tomorrow. I do not throw relationship here and there. In fact, I always tell people that in my life since I was born till now, I can count how many relationships I have with my hand. For all my life, I can count it. And I have no reason. There is no any reason for me to come on live and lie to anybody. I can tell you how many people I've dated with one hand. With this hand, I will tell you everybody I've dated. With this one hand, I will tell you everybody who is my friend, who has been my close friend. I do not associate beyond those particular people. But the world always expects that we have to know everybody. We have to be friends with everybody. And I'm not saying that I wouldn't give to a lot of people. I'm not saying I'm not going to reach out to a lot of people. I reach out to a lot of people. I reach out to a community of people. But certain people that I keep close to myself are very little circle. Because I don't want to be a burden to a lot of people. So I want the people that we can establish understanding, certain kind of understanding in our life. So that's it. Then the next one I will touch on is how I maintain happiness. Okay, I think I've already touched on it. How I am able to maintain happiness is to sow into other people and myself. And what do I mean by this statement? When I was growing up, I tried to see that some of the reasons why a lot of us are not happy in life is not because we are not fighting for our future. It is simply because we are fighting for our future and we do not care what happened to other people. And then, most times in life, a lot of people can identify when they are being betrayed by another person, but a lot of people cannot identify when they betray themselves. Some of the times that people are not happy, they most likely betray themselves. What do I mean by it? God or humanity was made with what we call conscience. And every single time you do something and it goes against your conscience, you don't feel happy. We can easily identify when people do something to us and we call it betrayal. But most times we cannot identify when we are doing certain things that is betraying ourselves. And that means that when you are investing in your future, you need to ask yourself a question: are you also investing in others? Because let me say this, and let us get it clear. God can never be God without angels. God can never be God without humans. If we do not identify God, then God does not exist. If God had not created human being, we wouldn't worship him. It's as simple as ABC. So what did God do? God had to invest in us as humans. So if you look at the principle of God to humans, God invested in us, and that is the reason why we are what we are today. We are conscious beings, and we can recognize and identify God. Enlightened One says that's actually the idea of Jesus. It's the physical manifestation of God. True. So if you even see Jesus, let us use Jesus as an example right now. When Jesus was born and to the age of 12, I talked about certain times that is not, some things that are not applicable to the Bible, that Jesus had to go through Egypt, go back to Egypt, went to India, went to Tibet, learned the Egypt mystery and the rest of it. What Jesus was doing was he was investing in himself. And that is why when you read the Bible, after Jesus was 12 years old, the Bible did not talk about Jesus until Jesus was 30 years old, and when he came back and started making miracles. Now, we need to also understand Egypt, India, and Tibet. Tibet was where Jesus actually learned to do, Egypt was where he learned about um, the Egypt mystery. The Tibet was where he learned about healing power, and India was where he learned about meditation. And so you hear Jesus meditate a lot of time. That was the lecture he got from India. The one he talked about Egypt. Let me make us know one thing, that when Jesus says, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come," that prayer was a prayer from Egypt. Some people will call it the Lord's Prayer, but I don't want to dive into that because it's a rabbit hole that if we go, maybe some other time, maybe on Sunday, I'll be able to dive into that particular prayer. But what am I saying? Jesus invested in his own self, and then when he knew that he was competent to a certain degree, for Jesus to be able to get fulfilled, he knew that he was supposed to invest in other people. And part of the people Jesus invested in was in the 12 disciples. Definitely, one betrayed him, and one became Paul the apostle to replace the one that betrayed him. And this is the reason why his message still exists till date. But a lot of us, in fact, there's a lot of motivational speakers who will tell you that you have to focus on yourself and invest on yourself, and truly you should, but the reality is that majority of the time there is no balance when you invest in yourself and you don't invest in others. The Enlightened One says Jesus understood so much about life. Christians do a very bad job explaining the Bible. Reality. That's reality. When we talk about the soul is trying to network with other souls, because a soul understands that it cannot exist primarily on its own. It needs the enabling of other people. And when you see an atom is always trying to associate itself with other atoms. This is to tell you that you cannot see a single water. There is no water that is single. Water is part of water. It is mixed with other water. When you look at the sand cannot exist. The sand is a combination of sand. Can you pick up one seed of sand? Yes, you might, but it is always in combination of other things. But the problem of human being is that we have invested so much on individuality, and when you invest and you go against the principle of nature, then you begin to have issue. If you invest so much on yourself and you don't think of investing in other people, you most likely will be having issues. Not most likely, you will definitely be having issues. What is the purpose of investing in other people? It is to establish a connection that you are not meant to sow just for yourself, but to sow in others because you are not dependable. Yes, people say, I want to be independent. That means you want to depend on yourself. But realistically, when you fall sick, when you are being hit by a truck and you are on the floor and you still have life inside of you, who will carry you to hospital? You need somebody to do that. When you fall sick and you are not doing well in life and you're not feeling okay, who do you go to? You need other people. But when we focus only primarily on ourselves, we become selfish. And when we are selfish, subconsciously, our conscience is telling us that we are being selfish and we have betrayed our soul. And so many times you will see certain individuals who have the old money, yet they are not happy. Why? They've betrayed their conscience, they've betrayed their soul. But the only time they can identify is when someone betrayed them. We most times betray ourselves. The enlightened one says, it's you, even study the right hemisphere of the brain and the left hemisphere of the brain. You will understand why Jesus told the fisherman to cast your nets to the right. He was most likely focusing on the left side. One way of thinking. That was what enlightened one is actually touching on. So I make sure in my life I invest both in myself and in other people. And I do not think there are people who have invested in and they are doing fine in their life. And in fact, I do not communicate with them anymore. When I mean I do not communicate with them, it's not that I have issues, but because of our distance and they've moved on with life to a certain degree, and they most likely might not need me. But I was glad, or sometimes when I look at my life, I can always reflect that I have touched the life of certain people. And touch the life of certain people is not just to give them a gift, but to really invest in their life, to make them something. And that sometimes when I feel like, what have I done with my life? I can actually use the thought that I was once useful to people, and that can help me regulate what I need to do for my life. So that's for that. So I invest, and that takes me to a subject that I would even touch on right now, going to the aspect of my last experience. Some people do not understand the importance of investing in other people, and most times not everything necessarily needs to be financial. Finances is part of it. Education is part of it. Knowledge is part of it. The purpose of establishing this YouTube channel is so that I can impact knowledge on people, and I believe that I will also meet with people who can impact knowledge to me. That's the idea behind it. I have learned so much while I talk to people, and I have learned so much, and I know that I have also been able to share insights to certain things that a lot of people want to know. So let me go back to one of my experience. When I was recently, early this year, when I was in jail by a crazy real estate organization who laid false allegation on me. I've talked about it so many times. They lay false allegation, manipulate the system of the police because they are wealthy. I was talking about electricity. I wanted people to be free. A lot of people were not even fighting. I was the only one fighting. until few people supported me. And when the organization saw that they were taking advantage of people and I kept fighting for them, at some point the organization went to lay some crazy allegations on me. And then I was not even interviewed in the police station. They just instantly take me to court and I was being remanded in jail. And then it occurred to me at that point when I was in jail, because I was in jail for 2 months, 10 days. When I was in jail, what occurred to me was that sometimes when I feel like things are not going well with me, there was something that kept me going. One of the things that kept me going was that I remember who I was to my children and to my wife. Hear me carefully. When I was in prison, one of the things that made life easy for me in prison, that did not make me feel a lot of pains in prison, was that I realized that I was good to my children and to my wife. When I say being good, meaning that I invested in them. And when I say invest, it is not just about giving them money. I play with them. Even when I have time, I could be reading book. I can distract myself. I can decide to go out with friends, go and drink beer and do a lot of things. But consciously, even though I know that my schedules might be tight, I create time to go play with my children. I create time to talk with my wife. I create all these times. And when I find myself in a difficult place, these particular events that I have done in the past gave me joy. Why? The reason is because I knew even if I die here, I was impactful in the life of my children, and they would always remember this. I was impactful in the life of my child, and they would always remember this. In fact, I was not even remembering of the fact that I have also helped other people. But because of the current one I was doing was to invest in my children, investing my time to play with them. Because there are a lot of fathers today who will tell you that children love their mothers more than their fathers. But they forget the aspect that when the children were very little, they were running away from the child. And when the child grew up, they have already become a stranger to that child, and the child is already used to their mother. But if they had invested time when the children were little, they would have created a better relationship with them and their children. I'm not saying that because you're looking for money, you have to focus on money so much. What I'm saying is that even regardless of whatever you're looking for, you need to understand that money might be able to take care of them, but you also need to be able to invest in emotion. And that is the fact of we investing in relationship, not just with your family, but with other people. And to make sure that we are not burdened to our children emotionally, and we are not burdened to other people. Because sometimes when our children see some of us as parents or as fathers, our children are scared. Why are they scared? We don't know this subconsciously, that we have become a burden to that child. But if we invest, the idea is that we want our children to respect and love us, not to fear us. Fear is not a good trait. Who wants to live in fear? So many fathers think that they discipline their child. You can discipline a child. To make a child have discipline is to raise a child to have principles. Discipline does not necessarily mean that your child must be intimidated whenever they find you or whenever they see you. You can create them to not create, you can't create a child, but you can create an atmosphere for them to have principles in their life, and they would engage, and before you know, they have certain disciplines in their life. So invest in other people and do not become a burden to other people. These are part of my addictions. And so when I'm fighting for people, even if they don't appreciate it, I understand that it will pay off at some point. Some people will say, I don't know why every single thing I'm doing, people are not appreciating me. They don't necessarily need to appreciate you. You have to identify the fact that you have the opportunity. God have put you on the surface of this earth, and it is your time to be able to do it. thank God you are there to be capable of doing those things. That's where I'm going to stop with that. Then the last thing is, maybe before the last one, I would say I am not addicted to money. Now, what do I mean by this? Every single thing I've been able to accomplish in my life, I try to make sure that it is between me and other people. Because I always tell people this: most women and some men have this idea of independence, and that is a very painful life to live, an independent life, if not the worst life. Independence, what does independent mean? Now, independence does not mean you cannot be dependable on yourself and say that, oh, I am capable of doing certain things. It is normal to be capable of doing certain things for yourself, not to beg from other people, but to be good to yourself, to be capable of taking care of yourself and the rest of it. But most times, a lot of people get it wrong, and they think independent means I am sufficient enough all by myself, that I need nobody. Good luck, Onyegorom. You have joined me. I have gone far with our conversation. When you did come earlier today, when we had a conversation, you came late. Now you came late. I hope you are able to do all the things that you needed to do before you join us live. So I understand, my brother. It's normal. Thanks at least for joining me. Thanks for thinking that, oh, you need to still come and talk to me. Please, if you are capable of joining my membership, please do join my membership. If you are capable of subscribing, please do subscribe. Please do like. I appreciate. So I've talked about all my addictions, and in a way, I try to simplify my life, because one of the things that I have seen from people is that they try to complicate their life, and they think that a complicated life is a life with purpose. Oh, Good Luck says, I just remember that you said that is 8 by 8, but I forgot about that. No problem. No problem. We have been here for over 1 hour. This is 1 hour, 3 minutes. So the problem is that a lot of people think that if my life is not complicated, I am not living a purposeful life. A simple life that has certain order in it is much more better than a complicated life with a lot of things in it. So the question is this: what are the things you want in your life? How do the things that you want in your life, how does it benefit you and other people? Because when it comes to you alone and you become so selfish, that can be an addiction of itself that becomes very destructive. And these are my own addiction that I make my life simple. I try to meditate every single day. I try to eat. I try to exercise. I try to impact knowledge to myself. And I try to make sure that I am not a burden to anybody I'm creating relationship with. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I might not need people's help. I might need people's help. I most likely might need people's help, but I try to make sure that I am not so much a burden on them, but rather that we can understand ourselves, creating a relationship of understanding and knowing my intentions behind everything I do. Once you can trust me, once you understand that I have an open heart and I don't have any intentions to manipulate you or to deceive you or to take something away from you, it is most likely that we will have a relationship that is going to last long. And I focus on relationship that can last longer. I am not looking for a relationship that we are just going to have for 1 month or for 1 year or for 2 years. Most of the relationship I've been able to establish in my life have 13 years, 15 years, and most likely some of them we are just going for life. Can something happen and we might not be together? Yes. Rusty says, take something away from me, please. Take my wife. Any questions? I'm done with my simplifying about my addictions. And what I mean by this addiction is that when I was in prison, for example, when I was in jail, sorry, I felt like I had to come out and I have to work on YouTube channel so that I can be successful on YouTube channel, so I can be able to raise certain funds to take care of the people in jail. Few people, not everybody, because jail is always going to be occupied with people. Now, rather than me to give them food, I observe that they cannot have good fans in that place. There is no hair. Sometimes people suffocate there. So I can buy fans for them. I can build well for them. Things like that. More boreholes for them, more tanks for them. These are the things I'm focusing on. And that propelled me. When I went to jail, I went to jail around March 4th this year. I came out around May 14th. And when I entered jail, I was in 225 subscribers. And I started October last year. When I came out, the intentions behind my idea that it was not just because of me, but because of other people, it made me get dedicated to the idea of the YouTube. And within the period of 3 months, by God's grace and with the support of you guys, I've been able to cross 1,000 subscribers. I've been able to cross 4,000 watch hours that a lot of people cannot do within 4 or 5 years. Why am I saying this? If I had chosen myself only, if I had focused on myself only, yes, I may be able to achieve it, but the reality is that I I might get some funds from YouTube naturally, and it can kill my spirit. But because I know that there are always going to be prisoners, there are always going to be people who would need my help. That is, what do I call it? That is what I use as an addiction. Maybe you call it addiction, or I can use it as a motivation to continue. And I think that I'm about to start something with you guys that is going to go to the highest level, one of the highest level. And the idea is just to be good to people. So any question you have, that's the reason why I was able within 6 months, 7 months to be able to make my YouTube become what it is. But it is through your help. Please, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. Rusty says, take something away from me. Please take his wife. I don't want to. Ask Rusty, you can also explain why you said that. Maybe we can reason with that particular statement. Good Luck says, because it's over good to be good, my brother, because good understand matters a lot for real good. I can't, because it's over good to be good. My brother, because good understand matters a lot for real good. Okay. Yes, if the life that you or me is over is not good for each other, the good relationship will never ever work for good brother. It kind of makes sense. Rusty says that LOL because she is a I can't say that statement. Crazy, bro. Rusty, I'm going to say something that I used to tell people, this statement. And I want you to take it from me. Trust me, Rusty, I love you as a brother. And my intention is also to tell people the truth. For you to have the right woman in your life, you don't need to search for it. The first thing you need to do is to be the right man for the woman. What do I mean? Most people think that for them to have the right woman in their life, they need to search for her. What I mean by that statement is that you ask yourself, the kind of woman that I wish to be with, am I the kind of man that can get that kind of woman? Have I done everything to be the best man of myself that I deserve this kind of woman? Because most times, if we make decision we are not the right man, that means we are quick to make decisions to quickly pick a woman on the way, or to quickly say, oh, a lady is beautiful and I want to get married to her because she's beautiful. We most likely are going to make the wrong choice, because what we are choosing is the beauty, not most likely the character. To know a woman who has a good character, you can only trace it through the family that she comes from. If you can trace, I would never, ever since I dated people in my life, any woman that I do not understand your family, I cannot date you. If your family is not the family I want to be part of, I cannot date you. And also, I have to be the right man that she actually would want to respect. And for a woman to respect me, I have to behave, I have to have certain discipline and principle for myself while we build the relationship. So when I was deciding to get married to my wife, I made sure that I was the best man I can be, and then she came into my life. I knew exactly what I want, because if you are the right man, you would know exactly the right kind of woman you want, because the right kind of woman is always within your vicinity. The problem is we most likely are not the right person, and we might be making choices on a surface level, not on a deeper level. When you want to build a relationship with a person, you are not looking at just at the moment, you are looking at what kind of person can we stay together for 40 years? What is the characteristics of the person? What family does the person come from? The reason is that the family tells you the story about the person. If you pick somebody just, oh, I love you and I love you and I don't care what your family is and you don't care what my family is, there might be issues somewhere. Good luck says, I'm coming to you, Rusty. Good luck says that did you know why it happened like that, bro? Is because you decide to do good, my brother. I don't even need to ask you anything. Good luck also say, yes, brother. Many boys and girls think that good relationship is by I love you, I love you. That's why we are kind of messed up in certain areas. I love you does not matter. I've asked people this question. Do you ever go into, there is no relationship that can be sustained because you love one person. Saying I love you and I love you. No, that is not what builds a relationship. Because love is an emotion, just like happiness, just like sadness, just like anger. Love is just an emotion. The person you decide to build relationship with, sometimes you might wake up and you might not feel affection. Even the things that a lot of people call love is just affection. So when you wake up beside the person and your body is not aroused, you think you don't love that person. You think you can't have good relationship with that person anymore. You think that person should be out of your life. You have made a wrong choice. Affection is a blindness, not love. Love is an intentional act. That means even if I don't feel happy with you, I will still respect you. If I don't feel happy with you, I will still do what is proper for us so we can grow in life. If I don't have that affection or love at some point, you would offend me at some point. I know what kind of offense. You see, one of the things I would even put out to you today is that most of the ladies that I dated, which they are about maybe 4 in number, including my wife, that's what make it 5, the 5th person I got married to. Now, when I got married to my wife, the ladies that I was dating before, I would most likely provoke them. And when I provoke them, or sometimes somebody outside would provoke them, and I watch the words of their mouths. Some of them will insult the person. They will say, "You are a stupid man. You are crazy. If you get close to me, I'm going to give you a dirty slap. You are mad." And the moment they make those kind of statements, I know that they are capable of saying the same thing to me. It's not a rocket science. When somebody is insulting another person and you are clapping and that person is close to you, just know that one day the person is going to insult you. But when I provoke my wife, or when my wife is going through a lot of things in her life, she would never say that God is going to deal with this person will go through hard time, this person is stupid, this person is this. She wouldn't ever make that statement. And when I saw it, I'm like, a woman who can control her tongue, a woman who can control her tongue, you most likely would have issues. Because most times the things that provoke men in relationship is the words that are being told to us by a woman. Sometimes it's not the act, because the words of her mouth shows her actions too. It's not rocket science. Let me quickly read they are the right woman until you find out they are not. Yes, I really appreciate everything you are saying about, but just that the way many things are happening today in the life that we live in. If not, brother, I could have sent you my phone number, so that when my number is on my about page, once you click on my page, you will see my phone number there. You can private chat me. We can discuss on many levels. Regardless, we might not need to talk on Zoom. I have many people who can call me. You can also be part of it. We have our own community. You can have my number there is 08061704753. You can chat me and we can discuss on many things. Whatever. If there's something I can do, I will do it for you. That's as simple as ABC. Rusty says, my wife tell me she loved me for the last 10 years, but cheat on me 3 times. And we have 2 kids. LOL. Those words mean nothing when you don't mean it. Rusty, let me make this also clear. Sometimes we might make certain tragedy happens in life. Now, what do I mean by tragedy? Sometimes you might choose someone who is going to lie to you. Now, I do not understand all the context regarding your wife. I can't say I know the beginning or I know how to be a bad person or whatever. In fact, I'm not here to judge anybody. But for me, what I say is this: whenever someone says something, most likely I try to find what the person can actually control rather than me focusing on what the person cannot control. Now, the truth is this: what is the level of the understanding that you have established with your wife? For example, an intelligent woman does not mean that the woman is very knowledgeable for a relationship. Hear me again. An intelligent woman does not mean she has knowledge for relationship. Just because somebody knows how to read book, somebody have A1, somebody is educated, somebody work in a corporate office, somebody does this, somebody is ambitious, does not necessarily mean that the person have the knowledge that can establish and retain marriage. That lecture can only be taught by the family at which you come from, or else you go through rehabilitation from a different entity to teach you. Because when a woman does not understand how to take care of the husband and the home as a whole, or to retain a man, the intelligence part of them will walk away at some point, and it will show that they do not have the knowledge to retain a home. So the question is this: when you were meeting her, was she so intelligent and beautiful, or did you think she had all the quality and the knowledge of raising a family, and she actually need a family? When I say need, not because other people are saying it, but because she believes that is what a family should be about. Most times we men always remove the idea of a woman have to believe that she wants marriage and it matters a lot to her, or she wants to establish a family with you. Not that if the marriage doesn't work, I would walk away. Anybody who is willing to walk away from marriage, anyone who is willing to walk away from relationship, simply means that person is not fit to be in a relationship. Rusty says something again. He says, so when she cheats, it is the mentality that is behind it. The mentality of saying that my pleasure or my desire is more important than the relationship. If you think that your desire, there's something I wouldn't want to say, but I will say it right now just for the sake of our conversation. I am a person that if I see someone that is pregnant, I cannot be attracted to a pregnant person. When my wife is pregnant, I do not go close to her. She's beautiful. I like her. I love her. I know everything I want. But when it's that time that I know she's pregnant, I do not. My body cannot do anything. No matter how I desire, my spirit is like, no. Now, maybe I need to work upon myself. I do not know. But what I'm saying is that when I know that's the time, I need to hold myself. And when she realized the personality, she realized also that she has to be patient more with this person, regardless of the fact that I knew she was a patient person in the first place. So some people go into relationship because the sexual experience of their life was on a top notch, was skyrocketing, fire blazing everywhere. And the moment the desire begins to quench, the fire begins to quench, then they start having issues. You said she did it 3 times. It is the 3 times you knew. Some people might not even know how many times they've done it. You said, I get the blame for her cheating because I work a lot to support us all. Can't win either way, bro. Just plod along and live with life. True. Here is one of the things that I would also say. I do not know where your intentions are, but what I would say is this. There's a reason, if you read the Bible very well, that Eve gave Adam the apple to eat. Do you know why? It is simply because Adam was not taking Eve when he was going to the farm. So when you have a vision and a woman is not part of your vision to make that vision come true, she most likely would deviate towards something else. So what I do is that I establish a business, or I establish certain things to do, and I tell my wife to handle that business. Every single time I establish something, I say, my wife, handle this particular business. Now, I'm not saying that I have a perfect relationship, that sometimes I don't have misunderstanding, but what I'm saying is that when you make them believe in the vision, they most likely would not see something that will entice them outside to say that this is the thing I want to go. They would not worship their emotions over the vision you have, because they know they are part of the vision. If Adam was carrying Eve to the farm whenever he was going to till the ground, where would have the snake have the opportunity to talk to Eve? Now, when you are working, you have to create a vision of something that imbibes your family together. I'm not saying regardless it is impossible for the lady to do it, but I'm saying behavior, family, and vision, when you look at this combination, you most likely can tell the future. So let's go back to what Good Luck says. I'll quickly read everything here. Good Luck says, ever you are coming on live, chat at any time so that I will never miss you on live. Chat, my brother, even though I don't want to talk anything, but just to sit down and watch you for more understanding. Thank you very much, bros. Good luck. Ross to say, wait, you have a better way to get donations. YouTube takes some of what I give. I think you're right, sir. I have I haven't opened a PayPal because they don't allow PayPal, but YouTube takes about 30% of whatever is being donated, and I understand it. Um, but we flow with life. I have an account with what do they call it, the GT Bank, but you know most people outside the country cannot just pay money directly to the GT Bank, except someone is willing to do this Western Union and the rest of it. That's the only other option that I have. If they had effect PayPal, I would have been able to get PayPal, but they don't allow PayPal for Nigeria. So whatever is being given, the YouTube takes 30% of it. In fact, I think Rusty is the one who gave me 10 pounds 3 times. That was 30 pounds. I don't want to say what they remove in that one, but I'm fine. The most important thing is I'm appreciative of every support that I have. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you did, Rusty. I truly appreciate it. Good luck says, can you please call the number again? Okay, is 080 61 70 4753. Is 080 61 704753. Yeah, because what I'm seeing here is the man of thought. Okay, if you are clicked on the about page, you would see the phone number there. You would even see an account number and all those kind of stuff there. All those things are head knowledge, and when the person died, everything about that person is gone. Yep. A pregnant woman turned me on. Not gonna lie. We are wired differently. So I am wired the opposite way, Rusty. So it's a funny one. Good luck on you. Gorom says that just like what you just said, me myself, I see it that I am going to suffer for nonsense reasoning, for nonsense vision, my brother. Can you please help me explain it very well? The enlightened one says, I don't believe you can cheat on your wife or she can cheat on you. She broke your covenant to God. You are both under the marriage and the marriage is under God. Good luck to get. The enlightened one, you're truly enlightened, my brother. Um, you broke the covenant. You broke the covenant you have with God because it was a promise. Yeah. Did you know that Adam is a very big good luck? Ha! Please let me know, good luck, if you have had the number, if you are correct with the number that I gave out. If you have it, please let me know also. Good luck. God will forgive you. Good luck to I meant. Yeah. You know, I do not understand the situation with Rusty and his partner. So there's a level of discussion that we can really, the level at which we can go. I don't want to say anything that tears anything apart. and I don't want to say anything that is actually broken and I'm trying to fix a broken bottle. So if there is no information, deep information and deep understanding, we most likely cannot give out a sensible opinion that can be very useful. So that's the reason why I only look at it from the part of Rusty, and I don't want to say anything more than that, because until we understand the situation, most likely we can say a lot. But at the end of the day, when we feel betrayed by people, or people break covenants that they make to God, um, just like the enlightened one says, we need to understand that that person break their oath. There are certain things that are necessary for certain people to do, but you have to ask yourself certain questions on the actions you really want to take. So that's how I see it. Good luck says, okay, good luck says somebody that says is a man is there opening his teeth, and that foolish girl called if deceive him. If good luck, good luck, Jonathan. You, my brother. Um, the story of Adam and Eve, it might not be true, but if it is true, because the reason why I said it might not be true is that before Adam and Eve were actually existing, the Bible recorded, sorry, there were books that were being recorded on the Egyptian part, more before the Bible was being recorded. Who told the story of Adam and Eve? The person who told the story of Adam and Eve is Moses. Moses writes Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. So if Moses came after Jacob, after Joseph, and they became slave in the land of Egypt for 430 years, and he was born and he stayed in the palace, and then he came out. How did he know all this story? But when you look at the Egypt context, when you begin to read the Bible and comparing it to the centuries of the Egyptians, you will realize that the Egyptians have more history that is backdated before the Bible itself is being recorded. So we are using, because of the religious people, to tell the story that is suitable to them. But with that being said, let's leave it at that, so that people who are religious will not be so offended. Enlightened one says, I used to cheat until I got connected to God. I cannot imagine going to break my covenant for sex. God is a God of covenants, and do not take a man or a woman to God if you cannot discipline the flesh. Out of those discipline is what retains a relationship. In fact, there is no relationship that can be established without certain principles. And that principle would have certain discipline. And the discipline is between you, yourself, and the person. And then you create certain principle that will help the relationship to flourish. Relationship is like a flower. You need to water it every single time. Rusty, why are you deleting? No problem. You can give out any information you actually want out to the public. If you don't want it out, there's no problem. It's fine. Good luck says that, my brother, I have gotten the number, my brother. Okay, the story about those people is over real truth. Real truth, my brother. See, sometimes we need to know that we are a man. Okay. Yeah. The enlightened one says that it's not even about if the Bible is true. Read it as a story and apply the wisdom to your present life. That's it. The enlightened one. Sometimes you just make my head kind of want to connect. It's like your eyes, your lens and the lens of my eyes are kind of the same lens. There's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. There's a lot of wisdom also in the Egyptian mystery, which Jesus actually had to learn. And these are applicable to the wisdom that he has. But a lot of people, we want to study a story just to believe that story and take it in that way. But we forget that the idea of an history is to get the knowledge in it and to apply it in our today's world. The enlightened one says, even if it's not true, okay, I've read that. Good luck says, I called the number, but it's not reachable. Maybe it's network. Yes, in fact, I was the one who put it, Mr. Good luck. I put my phone on airplane mode and I put on my router, because if I had put on the phone right now, if you had called it, it would it might distract our conversation. But that phone number is on WhatsApp. You can chat me on WhatsApp. If you even chat me on WhatsApp while I'm live, it's going to pop up. So rather, chat me on WhatsApp. We have internet here, but most likely because of network of making calls, sometimes it always fluctuates. But on WhatsApp, we can talk for a very good long time. So save it and chat me through WhatsApp. Thank you very much, sir. Rusty says, I said, if you think the Bible is true, I got fairy dust for sale, but didn't want to offend LOL. Okay. I see Jesus as an early magician. Is it so far-fetched to think of him like that? Okay. I see Jesus as an early magician. Okay. Rusty, God is a magician, bro. If you can say let there be light, and there's light. That's what an amazing people am I having in my platform. You guys are very interesting. You guys are very, very interesting. Now, my take, I think Enlightened One hits the nail on, on a place. My take would have been that we cannot know the full story because a lot of things were being taken out. Somebody at some point when we were having a discussion was talking about Ethiopian Bible. And the Ethiopian Bible is more or less the original scripture than the King James Version Bible that a lot of people are reading. And let me make it clear. Please go and make a research. The Ethiopian Bible have 81 to 88 books in it. The King James Version and the normal Bible a lot of people read has 66 books in it. The Ethiopian Bible is older than the King James Version and the Bible a lot of us read with 800 years. Go and fact check what I say right now. Ethiopian Bible is the first original Bible, and it is older than the Bible we are reading with 800 years, and it is 88 books. And the Bible we are reading right now is 66 books. So now I want to ask you, if one book of Bible is 800 years older and then has the full passage, and then we have one that does not have it, many stories are missing. Let's leave it at that. Good luck says, my brother, Jesus is over. Real good, God ho. Okay, bro, Jesus walked on waters. Shit, I saw Chris Angel do that many times. Enlightened one, bro, you're so enlightened. Jeez. Yeah. Rusty says they might have got away with the Bible if it wasn't for Mary having an immaculate conception. I can enjoy fiction as much as the next man do. Yeah, I told people, most people wouldn't even want to believe the fact that Mary was immaculate until they have to go through the Catholic. And when they read the Catholic Bible, they realize that Mary was immaculate. I like telling people to make them understand that even Saint Anne was immaculate, the mother of Mary. And when you become immaculate and you give birth the first time, that doesn't mean without having intercourse, that doesn't mean you will not be able to give birth again. Like Mary giving birth to Jesus immaculately, after Jesus, he had other brothers and sisters. And in fact, the Bible did not say much about his brothers and his sisters. So the idea is not to diminish the work of Christ or Jesus Christ. The fact is that let us just take the good things that he has done and apply it to our life, because what we are actually focusing on is the positivity of what we want to do with our life. It is not about diminishing his works. It's not about saying that he's so perfect and the rest of it, but we have to look at the best part of it and we can apply it. And I think that will make our own life easy. If our life is going the way we want it to go, and we have certain understanding to know that when our life is not actually getting to the place that it needs to go, it is also being okay. So that is my perspective on the aspect of Jesus. Now, do I believe in Jesus? Do you believe in Jesus? That is different for every single person. What do you understand by belief? Belief simply means mental acceptance. But I think that anything I decide to do that I cannot question it, I have to think about it. And so I would not take certain ideology of things that I cannot question. And so I question everything. The enlightened one, Rusty says, enlightened one, oh, she was touched, LOL. Muslims even agree that she was untouched. That's what enlightened one says. Muslim even agree that she was untouched. Enlightened one says, oh, she was touched, LOL. Yes, she was touched after the birth of Jesus. True, she was, because she had other brothers and sisters. Jesus had brothers. I don't know if he had sisters, but he had brothers. The Bible recorded it. Even the Bible recorded it. And if you read the lost book of the Bible, Jesus actually had brothers. Good luck says that because if he's not a real powerful man, that law of if you do this, stone him or her to die, okay, to death. But if you understand yourself, your sin will be forgiven. By brother, Jesus is super quality master. True, in a sense. I agree. If we focus on his lifestyle and the things he did with his life, what Jesus was actually, let us look at Jesus with this eyes. He had everything that he could do to make his life work fine, but he decided to invest it on other people. Now, people may interpret it to other things, but he cared for other people. And for him to be fulfilled, he have to die for other people. Let's just put it that way. So for him to be fulfilled, he died for other people. This is to show us a sense of sacrifice, that our life is not just meant for us, but our deeds is meant for us and other people. And other people simply means generations to come. And the problem we are having in this generation is that we have decided to be so selfish that everything is about us. We sacrifice for ourselves, but we can't sacrifice for other people. And that makes the world kind of what we have today. I think Joseph did and ran away with her. That's why they ended up in. Enlightened one says Rusty is so interesting. Really, Rusty is interesting. Rusty have a perspective. When I look at Rusty, he has certain perspective. I think there's a mentality that Rusty have to free himself from everything that is very serious, to take life simple. And so he finds a way to create joy regardless of the difficult time. So Rusty kind of have that kind of mentality. So he can be sarcastic on many conversation, even if it takes certain things serious. And that's a good one because you can relieve yourself of certain situation. I think he has a good way of reasoning. That's a good one. Enlightened one says, hello, hell. Good luck says, because for me, good luck, I know I am a sinner. Sinner, okay, but I overbelieve Jesus, my brother. I don't ask people not to believe. There is a sentiment around belief. Belief, if you check the meaning of belief, belief simply means mental acceptance. And what is the meaning of mental acceptance? It simply means you accept what is being told to you and you cannot question it. The only time that I kind of take people very serious when they are being when they talk about Christianity is those people who have read Genesis to Revelation on their own without the help of their pastor. Because when you understand the truth, like the Bible says, the truth will set you free. I'm not saying you have to read other passages of the Bible that are not included. I'm saying read the whole Bible. Then, when you understand the stories, you will realize that most pastors that preach the gospel to you, they tell you a particular passage and they make it fit into what they want you to believe. So, most people are not questioning a lot of things. And the Bible says, my people perish because of lack of knowledge. You cannot be knowledgeable when a man is the one dictating everything for you. Church is an institution that is supposed to raise your consciousness so you can associate yourself with God. But if God is an institution, if church is an institution, let us look at it like a school whereby you learn how to read and then you master the book. How can you go to an institution and you will not graduate from the institution? A lot of people go to church for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 40 years, 100 years, and they are still going, and the pastor is the one telling them the passage to read. And that is why most pastors are able to exploit them, because the word in the Bible is enough that it can give you freedom in life. But most likely, when you don't do the work yourself and you expect somebody else to read it and then tell you, when the person asks you to bring offering, tithes, and all of that, they might be able to psychologically drain you out. And we have experienced it. Brother, good luck. I know you are Nigerian. How many people was the pastor or were churches able to save during the time of this protest where people are screaming hunger? But the same people have been paying money to churches over and over again, but the pastors use the money to buy private jets for themselves. And that's simply because there was a belief system, and most people think they believe in God, but they actually believe in their pastor. And once you believe in pastor, thinking that you believe in God, if you truly believe in God, you will do the meditations and you will study the word of God yourself. So if you're not studying the word of God yourself, you are limited to the ideology of your pastor. The enlightened one says, we don't have to agree, but I respect all your points. All love, yeah. Rusty says, why did they end up in a band mat from home? It's just suspicious. It's all LOL. I heavily pregnant woman riding a donkey to where? Why? I feel she was young. Joseph got her pregnant and he fled with her, so people didn't find out. It takes more. Good one from Rusty. The enlightened one said, you need people like Rusty to have great conversations. Trust me, you're right. I agree with you, enlightened one. Rusty says British sarcasm is definitely a big part of me, but certain things I do wonder about, like the last couple of comments. Yeah. Just understand that in life, things would never always go in our way, because if things always go in our way, then what is life? There's nothing to figure out if everything goes in our way. So sometimes we need to be comfortable with disagreements with people and not to condemn them while they have their own viewpoint. And Good Luck says that just for we to be safe, I really appreciate everything about that capacity man called Jesus, our good heavenly sent spirit. Yes, to set us free, brother. I overbelieve him for good reason. You're right, sir. I think his work is very good. Russell says, could you truly believe a man lost his strength because he got a haircut? Come on, bro. You're talking about Samson in the Bible. Uh, what can we say? What can we say? Russell says, one of the first red flags in the Bible for me is a talking snake. Let me say something. Do you remember that it was God that talked to Moses to write from Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Numbers, and the rest of it. So God narrated, maybe it was what happened or something like that. So let's not go there, because when we begin to debunk or throw out all these things, it might land on other people in certain ways to say, oh, you're going against my religion. But I understand the scripture and what it stands for. I take certain words out of it, I use it for myself, I pray, I do a lot of things, but I understand a lot of things that I think are right. But at the end of the day, I also know that I most likely might not get everything right in life. I can be making certain mistakes, even with my choices. I think you take it literally. Yeah. The stories are literal, but there are spiritual meanings beyond simplistic reasoning. True. Rusty says, enlighten one, I read the full story of Samson, but it makes no sense. Rusty, before I came to the live show, there's something that I did. My wife knows I always do this. I will breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out for like 30 seconds or 1 minute. Very deep breathing. If I tell you that for me to have a clear head, this is what I do, some people would say it doesn't make sense to them. But I've practiced it for a very long time, and I'm able to always use that to relieve whatever stress, to release my breath. Then I hold my breath for a very long time. Not everything might make sense to us, but we can find meaning or sense in everything. Even in nonsense, let us find sense inside. The story of Samson, for me, what I can take out of the story of Samson is that do not over put your trust on a woman. Remember King Solomon also in the Bible, he spoke, when you read the book of Proverbs, he said a lot of things about women that if you spend all your wealth for women, you most likely might get poor. And the same person who was saying it, who was filled with knowledge, has 700 concubines and 300 wives. Are you getting it? So sometimes a lot of people even know what is right, but they make a decision to do what is wrong. That's the reason why you do not take the words of certain people just because they are what they are, but you just pick out the knowledge of what they say to guard yourself. That no matter what you read or you study, that doesn't mean you are above making a mistake, or you are above making certain choices that might not be pleasing to the general public at some point. That is what I take from the story of Samson, not to put so much trust or rely so much on a woman that you open every secret about yourself without guarding your heart and your future or your vision so much, and you open everything to a woman. The most likely, if you don't know the woman, you don't know her family, you don't know where she stands for, there's a possibility she can betray you. That's what I see about it. Enlightened one says, I will explain it to you someday. Okay, I think we should spend some time talking. You are interesting and extremely articulate. Thank you very much, enlightened ones. Okay, good luck, enlightened. Okay, okay. Good luck says, don't you know that even the good things you are saying about is a very big good gift for your wonderful self, my brother. Thank you. Don't trust a bab. Rusty is a comedian. Wow. Don't trust the Bible. Rusty says, okay, I think the Bible would have been better with less stories and more meaning. TPH, I was raised Christian, but the stories just make it all too crazy to take in. I understand. I understand what you're saying, Rusty. This is what I have seen about the Bible. If you really read the Bible, and I'm going to say this, please take my word for it. If you read the Bible, very well from Genesis to Revelation, what would happen to you the first time you can do it is that you would disbelieve the Bible. You read it the second time, you will disbelieve the Bible. You read it the third time, you will disbelieve the Bible. But as you go on, if you read it the fourth time, you will start picking the senses in it. Now, this is where there was a time let me just put this together. There was a time my son was playing around me, and my wife is like, my son cherished me as a father so much that my son really loves me. And I tell my wife this, I said, he's in the space of admiration. So as a child, he's going to admire me. After he admire me, when he become a teenager or he start mingling with friends and he grow up to a certain place in a teenager way, or being a youth, he would demonize me. He would not take me too serious because he would think that I don't know what is going on, is living a different life and the rest of it. I say, but he will go after that phase. When he becomes fully a man, he will humanize me. Then he will understand everything I have done to him from a child to being a teenager and the rest of it. So the same thing is kind of applicable to the Bible, that when you read it, you will demonize it. But if you can study, there's a difference between reading the Bible and studying the Bible. When you begin to study the Bible, you would start picking the knowledge inside of it rather than focusing on the story. Because some story doesn't make sense, but you can pick the knowledge out of it and you can use it for your own good. Because the story is there, may not really make a lot of sense, but the knowledge in it, you can use it to guide yourself to create certain principles, and those principles are everlasting. That's what I can say, my brother. Good luck says that is the reason why you don't need to over listen to the tones that will make you stay anyway from the bottom of the truth, because they might even find a way to deceive you, my brother. We know that happens. My brother, whenever you close from this chat, I am going to oversleep for real good, because I really need to sleep soon. With that being said, I think that we have come to a conclusion of today's conversation. Rusty, I appreciate you for your last donations and every support you all have been giving me, including Miss D, including, there are some names that I cannot recall, but these people have actually support me, and I appreciate Good Luck. I appreciate the Enlightened One. I appreciate everyone who has support, who have been able to subscribe to my channel, who have liked, and who have the opportunity or have been patient to listen to me to this particular time. Please have a good night. We would always have this conversation. Probably if we can't talk tomorrow, I might just be making a short video tomorrow. And I might be having an announcement or something regarding Saturday, but I have to clarify it tomorrow. And so we are going to be talking Thursday, definitely Friday and Saturdays. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Let us have a safe day. Let us live fine. Oh, Rusty, thank you. Let's stay blessed. Have a great day. I'm grateful. I have to like this. I'm grateful. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Have a great night. Peace.